Two things. Your beard is fucking on point, man.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Invincible podcast, probably the best superhero podcast in the universe. This is a show where friends get to sit around and talk all things Invincible, a comic book by Robert Kirkman, Corey Walker, and Ryan Ottley, and soon to be animated series over on Amazon Prime. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan, and joining me is TJ.
Hey, it's me.
And Bill.
Hi! I knew you were going to flip it around this time. I knew it. I had a
well, on
feeling.
the screen here, TJ's on top, and so I just kind of, that's how it landed, man. That's how it landed.
I'm always on top. Always on top.
I knew you were going to take it there.
No,
I knew it.
No.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
I'm doing good. Did good.
We just
did a very good interview with Shawn Kirkham, aka
Big Clutch.
Oh,
Wow.
asking where Big Clutch came from.
Yeah, I
Shit.
wanted to ask him.
Oh.
Didn't flow that direction.
Fuck, that was even on our keynotes and everything.
Yeah.
But it was great. We're actually going to start off the episode with that this week, and we've got a ton of Invincible related news. There was what can you call it, a panel? There was a video. I couldn't think of the word. I was like, what was it? A live stream. There we go. They did I've eaten a lot of gummy bears.
It was hashtag Invincible Friday.
That's right. So they released a clip, a release date. We've got more information, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about it because I haven't really talked to you too much about it. I haven't talked to Bill especially. Talked to TJ a little bit, but
we've shared some calls.
So, but before we get into all of that, we are the Invincible Podcast. You can email us if you'd like to be a part of the show, like a lot of you did for this episode. You can email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com or find us over on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify. We are also on theinvinciblepodcast.com where you can find all this information in our videos and stuff like that all in one place. We even got a new podcast review over on Apple, which is the first one in like a year.
People like us still?
Right. Another 5 stars from Hemi Man saying great Invincible pod, which was cool. We've also got a lot of really great comments over on YouTube, especially since we did that reacts video to the clip. A lot of great comments over there. So thanks to everybody out there. We are also, got to give a shout out to the Oblivion Song podcast. We are in a little bit of a...
to ourselves.
Yeah, of course.
Sounded a little pretentious to me, too.
I guess I didn't mean it like that, but, it happened. But that shows a little bit of a pause right now while we wait for new episodes to come out, or new issues to come out.
End of February.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. End of this month.
Can you hear Walter chewing on his bone?
No.
It's every now and then. And I wasn't sure if it was picking it up, but we'll see.
Oh, I hear it.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that.
I heard it.
So for the first time, I'm letting Walter in the room with me while we record. So if it gets a little too much, I'll ask him to leave politely.
Excuse me, Walter. Can you please gather your bone?
When we please see yourself out. I do want to put a note here for anyone tuning in, especially for the first time. We spoil things. We assume that you've read the comic, especially in the Shawn Kirkham interview here. We do mention the end of the comic a little bit and some things that happen, favorite characters and so on. So if you're listening to this, if you found this podcast and you're excited about the show coming up and you want to learn more, we encourage you to definitely go check out the comic. Go read that, especially the first 25 to 50 issues or so before the animated series comes out, where so you can listen to us.
We also have a new reader series that you could follow along to while you're reading.
That's right. So without further ado, I want to get into the Shawn Kirkham episode because it was a ton of fun, and I want to kick it over to that, and then we'll come back right afterwards to talk about all the latest Invincible news. All right, so here we are with Big Clutch himself, Mr. Shawn Kirkham. Welcome to the Invincible Podcast.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Doing good. Thank you so much for joining us here.
I'm very glad to be here. It's definitely, I think it's been a couple years in the waiting. We were going to have something at San Diego Comic-Con this past year, but that didn't happen. So,
Yeah, that's how it is.
Got canceled.
Which I want to get to. I want to talk a little bit about what happened and how you guys adjusted to this year, but I want to back it up a little bit. And for anyone that doesn't know, what do you do at Skybound? What is, I mean, you're VP, right?
That's a
big question.
Fantastic question. I think Robert asked me, what do you do here all the time? So kind of the normal thing around the office. But as senior vice president, it had been of business development. The roles kind of shifted a little bit during this past year. I'm kind of now more of a kind of front-facing person. I host a show called Comic Spot Live, where we sell rare comic books, CGC graded comic books, and we do that once a month. I'll be doing I've got a couple new shows coming out later this year.
We have purchased many items from the vault sales.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I appreciate that. I'll make sure that I don't leave a candy wrapper in your box next time I ship them out.
So how does one become VP of a major comic book entertainment industry? How did you get into the comic book industry?
I actually got really lucky. I think I've been a fan of comics and music since I was in elementary school, high school, and I moved down to LA 20 years ago. I worked in music for most of that time, and then 10 years ago, one of my closest friends, Sina Grace, became Robert's editor when they formed Skybound. Mm-hmm. And then in that first year of Skybound being Skybound, they did San Diego Comic-Con, which in 2010, the year that The Walking Dead kind of got announced as a show. And so he asked me and my buddy Dave Andre to kind of come down and volunteer with Skybound to work the San Diego Comic-Con. And we were like, cool, free hotel, free food, free booze. Like, yeah, we can do it. Didn't realize it was going to be such a can I swear on this one? Can I say bad words?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Sure
it was a fucking shit show. Just in the fact that like people, The Walking Dead it went nuts. People were just like, what is this? And so we spent every day just
now how long
at the booth selling.
How long after Walking Dead came out was that? Was that the summer after season 1?
No, that was the summer before. So they
God.
announced that. So that was when they announced that they showed the trailer for the first time at Comic-Con, and it was such an early thing that no one knew what was really going on, and we were able to. I mean, we had the cast do a full cast signing at our booth at San Diego Comic-Con. Like we couldn't do that now. It's too much. It would be too much of an absolute chaos.
Yeah.
But we did it then, and it was crazy. And so then we did another New York Comic-Con, did Long Beach Comic-Con, and then the following we did WonderCon in that same year. And then shortly after that, they Robert and his partner David Alpert DA asked, they were like, hey, do you want to come work for us? And so I became the second employee of Skybound at the time, and that was in early 2011.
Yeah.
And then from there, just as the company grew, 5 people, 10 people. Now we're closer to 80 people now at the company, and so through that, just doing all my stuff, just kept growing and growing with the company as we grew. And then now we're at a point where we've got a ton of people who handle biz dev, and they handle marketing and handle, production and manufacturing, all that stuff. And so I've been able to kind of shift my role into more of a, on camera front, public facing entity for the company. But then also I do background biz dev and A&R and try to find artists and people to work with. And, as we build out the Comics Vault Live brand and other, shows that we've got in the works here too. So the role has shifted multiple times, and it'll continue to shift, I assume.
No, go ahead, Bill.
I was just gonna say, so in like a business development, because we know nothing about how a company works, and what those roles are. But so does that mean past comics, because we know Skybound is multimedia, obviously. So are you continuously finding ways to branch out the brand and do multiple different things? Is that kind of what that is?
Yeah, I mean, at the start, it was how do we make lunch boxes and, enamel pins and t-shirts and that stuff. And then of course it grew as, with The Walking Dead, of course, exploding to all sorts of pop culture. Like we were able to, partner with Hyundai to sponsor these big, parties at San Diego Comic-Con. And then we did a concert with Weezer, and we did a license deal where we made a Walking Dead branded Hyundai car, and we did the Walking Dead Escape. And so those are all opportunities that I found and I fostered and I kind of built in and brought in. So
nice.
And then also smaller scale too, of like making action figures and all that stuff and finding those opportunities.
Will there be a Hyundai Invincible car in the future?
I mean, it's a very good question. Let's see how that took a couple years of The Walking Dead being on TV before we got to that. So we'll see if we can get to that. But
we can beat that.
I would love it. I'd love to have I could definitely use a car. I have my Hyundais in the driveway, and it's been sitting there since 2013. So,
Bill kind of, broached on it a little bit. We started this about 5 years ago or so, and we've learned a lot about comic book industry and everything.
Seriously?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Next month is our 5-year anniversary.
You guys need one of these.
What's that?
Did it come across? Oh, hold on.
Oh my God!
I do that though. We don't need literally during the podcast. I just go pow, 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 pow,
yeah.
One of those.
5th anniversary. That's awesome. I love it.
So
thank you.
We've
take it.
Definitely learned a lot. We were pretty ignorant early on about a lot of things. I mean, ask me what an editor did or even an inker. I mean, we really didn't know much. We were just fans of Invincible and fans of a few other Image comics.
I still don't know what an editor does, by the way. And I sit next to them in the office all the time.
So you said something like you were the second employee of Skybound after almost a year of Skybound being a thing. Like what was Skybound early on? What was the goal? Like what was the point of Skybound? And again, we don't know that much about it was an imprint, right?
Yeah, so Skybound was Robert, at the time had, became a partner of Image and had been working at Image for years, also Marvel. And then when he decided to hey, I'm gonna leave the Marvel stuff full time, I'm gonna do my own stuff. It all kind of happened to be just an amazing confluence of timelines. And with The Walking Dead being a show at the time, the rights that they were able to retain from the show. Normally, when you sign off a show, you give, if it's NBC or HBO, they get all the rights to do merchandising based off the entire property. But because Robert and DA had kind of set a precedent that, they had been doing merchandise in the Walking Dead comic space for a while before, that they got to retain those rights, which allowed us to, make action figures, make video games, and build out our own world while the show was able to do their own too. And so we've kind of been able to carry that across, and we're doing that with Invincible and our other stuff. So at the time, what did you even ask? I even forgot.
So is it basically, the point of Skybound as opposed to just doing everything through Image was to basically maintain all the rights and have it all under one roof?
And be able to kind of build out a support staff to be able to exploit that stuff, and really how making Image is the greatest thing going in comics, but they're not able to do all the ancillary stuff that you want to do. Like they're a comics publisher, they are built to handle and publish comic books, and they do that fantastically. But Image isn't built to do a deal to make action figures. McFarlane Toys is, and they handle that stuff and they do that. And so you kind of work through that stuff. They're not able to go out and Image doesn't handle rights for film and TV of your stuff, or to license for video games. That's all on each creator. And so Skybound was basically built as a way to handle the backbone of that for our creators and the people that we partner with, and even do it for people on the outside too. Like we've done some action figures for other brands and stuff. So that was really the impetus, is how do we build out our own company that can handle all the influx of these different the opportunities that come our way.
Yeah.
That's really fucking smart in terms of business management and building a brand. You hear so many horror stories about, things being taken from the creators, you know what I mean? Kirkman, if HBO got, or if, AMC got all the rights to Walking Dead, you wouldn't see any of that merchaving stuff. They'd be exploiting that. So that's super smart.
It's cool because I've always enjoyed the fact that we get to have the best of both worlds, right? So like a lot of the stuff that AMC does for the show action figures or statues or any of that, the shirts and backpacks stuff is all awesome. But then also we get to do stuff that's a little more tailored to the comic fan, not as the mass market type stuff. And so we find stuff that's a little quirky and a little stuff that's different that we know our fans are going to like. And also the fun thing was always to be able to play ahead of we're a season, the comics are seasons ahead of where the TV show is. So we get to, I got to introduce Negan as an action figure before he came out on the TV show. We got to introduce Princess. We got to introduce, the Whispers and do fun stuff with that and introduce the factions. And we got to play in that sandbox before the show got to it. And so we were already kind of priming the audiences like, this is the cool stuff you're going to see in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And it really kind of helped out when you're at a convention and you're talking to a fan who's only seen the TV show. You can say, look, this is the cool stuff you're going to get to. If you get this now, you're going to know more than your friends are, and so you're going to be more informed. And that was always a kind of a cool angle to introduce fans to the comic series.
Mm-hmm. So 10 years ago, I mean, that was around issue 75 of Invincible. Were you reading Invincible then? Were you reading it way before that?
Yeah, I was a fan of Robert for a long time. Battle Pope stuff, the Tales from the Realm, Space Ace, Brit, all the weird stuff that he was like all involved in the Masters of the Universe stuff that he had done. Like I've always been a fan of indie comics. Growing up in kind of Northern California, close to the Bay Area, so you always saw it with WonderCon and had a lot of really cool introductions to people that way, and then just followed his stuff. And so when Invincible came out and when Walking Dead came out, I was definitely on both of those series from the beginning. And I think, of course, as a lot of comic fans do, you come in, you come out, and you find what you like. So I remember selling in my copy of Invincible. I was hard up for rent at some point in the past 20 years, and I think I was like, I got to sell this book. Oh, it's $100. Amazing! Yeah. I'll sell it for $100, and I felt like I won the lotto at that point. Yeah. So
Hey, it could be worse. I think I got mine for $60 during the End of All Things.
Yeah. That's a great score.
Someone locally didn't know it was ending. It might have been right before. It might have been during Cory Walker's run towards the end there, and the end wasn't announced yet. And someone was just like, "Yeah, $60," and it was like, "All right, yeah, easy."
I found mine at a Buffalo Comic-Con garage sale outside.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
That's crazy. So I bought. I think I was 23 years old. So 10 years ago, I bought issue 1 through 15 of The Walking Dead for $115 on eBay. And I got them all graded. When we came and saw you guys, that's when I got 1, 2, and 3 graded. And they're like 9.4, 9.5. Yeah. For $115 for 1 through 15.
Yeah.
You never forget those amazing deals that you come across. You're like, I got the come up. This is what I did.
Yep. Crazy. I feel like this would have been a question for later, but do you have any cool Invincible merch, original art, like that kind of stuff? Just because we're talking about it now.
Yeah, I've got, I see you've got the Mark statue, the original, and I got mine up here too on the shelf. It's right there. God, there was a couple of years ago. It was probably 5 or 6 years ago at New York Comic Con. My buddy JJ, who's really big in the comics world, he reps Doug Mankey and Pat Gleason and whatnot, and he would work at our booth, and he knew a guy who was based out of New York who was coming to the show who had a couple Invincible covers that he was looking to sell, and so I think it was a cover for 51. I think it was that's the recreation of the first issue cover that Ryan had done. Maybe it was a 50 reprint or the second printing, but it's Mark in the on the pose.
It's the
and they reuse it for the black. They reuse it for another print as well.
Because
so it was that cover, some other cover in the 60s, and then also, which is one that I'm super stoked I got it, and I think Robert it'll be part of my exit interview that he'll have to take it off my hands when I leave the company. But it was Dale Keown's cover for Astounding Wolfman.
There's fucking awesome.
There's crazy
so he had all
Wolfman
three
variants.
of those covers, and I was like, I'll buy them all right now. And I think at the time, I don't remember what I paid, but it was I think a pretty sweet deal at the time. So yeah.
Some of those Wolfman variants are incredibly rare and really, really awesome looking.
Yeah, they're.
I have the 3 that are. I framed them all in one frame, so it's all one picture. The Invincible, the Brit, and the yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome! It's one of those things too. Like that series was like so ahead of its time for this. I feel like if it came out now, it would be it would be one of the top indie books out there. But yeah, so weird.
Yeah. It was perfect the way it was. Like that's. Yeah. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's my favorite. Other than Invincible universe. That's my number 2. It's so. But one question I always have to ask Invincible fans when they come on the show is favorite character, definitively.
Man, that's a tough one. I'll tell you, it's
Rexplode. It's Rexplode.
It's fucking Dinosaurus. We all know.
Absolutely. No, I think, and Ryan could probably tell you because I've asked him to draw it a million times with Battle Beast. I think it's just one of the. I mean, it's Mark, of course. Mark's on top, and then Battle Beast is that hot number 2. I think for me, like. Cool looking character, you just love it, and Ryan has always been able to make Battle Beast look so vicious and cool. So yeah.
Yep. I can't believe we're going to see him in season 1, and Michael Dorn is it's too perfect. It's too perfect.
Yeah, Robert's got some pretty amazing stories from the recording sessions with Michael Dorn, and I'm like, I just nerd out,
How much? Nah, you're not going to be able to answer that probably. But like, I'm just gonna. So, how much Battle Beast are we gonna get the amount that we saw like within that first little bit, or are we gonna see a little bit more? Or are
it's a trick question. Like the answer is not enough. Like whatever it is, there's never gonna be enough Battle Beast. Like until we have the Battle Beast standalone animated series, Battle Beast standalone full length feature film. Like that's the only time we're gonna get enough.
That was a brilliant way to deflect that question.
It is because even if he was in way more than we expect, saying not enough is still so accurate.
You guys can't see, but off screen, I've got a direct line with our publicist Shauna, and she's just looking at me, shaking her head. Don't say a word. Don't say a word.
I wonder how many times we can get Sean to look off to the left and like, no.
Okay. Can I get a little thumbs up? Yeah, seriously. I also tend to, most of my answers do come from the fact I think like, what would Robert yell at me about the least? Okay, don't say this.
Obviously, we've been waiting for this show for so long. We've always wanted something like this to come out, to happen. But, everything with last year, obviously with COVID, has been insane. And, we finally got the trailer. We finally got everything else. Just Skybound as a company, not just exclusively Invincible, but can you talk about like how you guys had to change and adapt to, this freaking apocalypse that is happening in the world?
Yeah, it has been a fucking weird year. The fact that we're coming up on a year here is crazy. We were actually really lucky at the beginning of last year to go with Robert to Angoulême, which is the gigantic comics and art festival off in Angoulême, France. And then my girlfriend and I we were in Rome following that too, and so we're hanging out with our publishers in our Italian publishers that sold the press.
Oh yeah,
and having this amazing comic time in there, and then was able to go to, came back in late February and did, I think New York Toy Fair and then C2E2, and then to come back and then go, holy smokes, I have to stay at home for the next 9 months, like year now. It's still weird to me to think that like I did all this really cool stuff at the beginning of last year, and then at the end of the year, like shortly after, it's like, oh cool, you're gonna go sit at home and do stuff, and the whole company being that way too, because me and my team were always involved in conventions and not going to cons has been a hard thing. But the company really did a great job of figuring out how to switch to working remotely, focusing on digital and doing stuff in live. And I think we were able to find a way to kind of work that out by throwing the Skybound Expo, which was a way to celebrate our 10th anniversary, and then also kind of as a substitute for San Diego Comic-Con. And so we did, a couple days of basically our Comic-Con programming crammed into a live stream for 2 days. And we did, the Comics Vault Live, every month in 2020, and we're continuing that on. And so these are things that I think we will keep as, full-on initiatives that'll kind of be going on, permanently with Skybound, looking at how do we access more fans digitally. And I think that we saw a massive turnout during the expo that we did in the summer. And it's interesting to see that people who, you're not going to a convention, you're not traveling for a convention, you're not paying for hotels and food and all that stuff. And we saw that people were like, cool, we'll buy the stuff from you guys directly. And so that was a really nice way to reach more people, across the board. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I thought the switch to the expos was really cool. You guys have done a really great job with those, with all the different panels that you have, just the, everything from the graphic design, everything, the music. It's just they're really fun shows, and it's cool seeing that you guys are sticking with it. It seems as though as soon as one ends, you kind of have the next one ready to go. It's announced, here it is. Next one's going to be in 2 months or 1 month. Now we're doing this one, and
the team who puts it on, Brian and Grima and Doe and all those guys are pretty amazing about being able to set that up and getting the graphics ready and all that stuff. And Brian Huntington goes all out on setting these things up, and he does a lot of the graphical packages that get put up. And it's really cool that we're able to do it. So our next one is coming up on, look at the calendar here, February 19th. We've got another expo. So it's in 2 weeks, which is going to be pretty cool. We'll have a Comics Vault Live, and it's pretty exciting to have this stuff. And then, for me, it's all getting ready for the show. I just want to let's fast forward to March, and we'll get.
Are you saying it's too much, just this build up, and you just want to be there? Or do you want it to be done? I want to see the episodes. They're so tight. They keep it under lock and key, and I've only been able to see little bits and pieces here. And we saw a couple of the first episodes in the office before. That was early previs stuff last year, and I've seen a couple other bits and pieces that Robert has kind of been able to, nicely show me from time to time, but I haven't seen the episodes.
That's
only know
crazy.
But you're the VP of Skybound.
I know. Yeah. I guess I could probably flex and get it done, but I also kind of I don't know, I having been a fan all my life, I kind of like the suspense.
I'll be honest with you. You guys saying that there's going to be a full-length trailer coming in the coming weeks is there's a part of me that's a little nervous and doesn't want to see it. I know that seems like blasphemy for people out there, but man, I don't know if I want to know. I like knowing just a little bit, and I feel like that's what we got.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the footage that's already out there, it's already enough. Everyone's like, I saw the trailer. It's great. I'm like, you didn't see the trailer. You saw a clip. And the clip is great. And the trailer's gonna be pretty cool. I was able to see the trailer. That was the one I was like, can I get this? And it's when it comes out, I'm not sure when it's going to get released, but it's going to be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So what we saw, the trailer that was released,
the teaser
that was released, that also was my release date that I gave the company that they went with.
That was the clip.
The clip.
Yeah. Oh, the clip. Yeah, the clip. Sorry, the clip. So how long was the teaser trailer? Was it 45 seconds?
It was something
less
like that.
Than a minute?
Yeah.
Can you tell us how long the trailer is?
I can't say.
Damn
it.
It's more than 10 seconds and less than an hour. Somewhere on that spectrum.
Robert did say when he announced it that it feels like it shows a lot, but it's still not showing everything. So I think we're gonna be okay. It's gonna feel like it's too much, but maybe by the end of the show we'll be like, that didn't show this, and this. So
you could show a shit ton in 30 seconds of just
True.
Bam, wow, you know what I mean? You don't need 2 minutes.
Yeah. So
I think you could show a shit ton. What's interesting is, do you think that the trailer is going to? I'm not asking one of those questions. He doesn't have to look to the left or the right. Do you think that the trailer is going to be more aimed at people who don't know what Invincible is, to show them what makes it different from the rest? You know what I mean?
I think it'll do a good job of being there for people who are unfamiliar with the the comic itself, but then also people who are like, you guys like mega fans who know everything about this are going to see stuff. They're going to be like, oh my God, that's awesome. I'm like, it is designed to get you excited about what's coming up.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what the clip did, where, it seems very like, oh, father and son talking, but fans of the comic book know that all the undertones of what he's saying to Mark, like, you're going to have to do things that you don't want to do. Like, that's like kind of foreshadowing of what's coming. And that was a perfect clip to show to get people excited.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also there is a piece about that clip that I've always enjoyed. It's such a, like, it establishes these guys are fucking powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm throwing a baseball around the earth.
Yeah.
And you're going to catch it in 5 seconds. Like, okay, like, you're pretty fucking strong at that point, right? Like, that's there's a lot of little nuanced things that are put in there. And I think it's amazingly one of the things that Robert has always been able to do is really kind of, without being overt, like, you pick up these things, you're like, oh, cool. Like, I get how this all takes place and how it shapes the world itself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I wanted to ask you about was, and you talked a little bit about, action figures and different collaborations and everything. Now, Walking Dead ended up in Magic the Gathering and Fortnite and everything this year. Are there any dream collaborations that you have, or maybe talk a little bit about doing collaborations like that?
I mean, I think that, there's so much. I mean, and having been on the Walking Dead side and having kind of already lived through this full life cycle, roughly 10 years of seeing a show become this big and what you can do, and still be respectful to the brand. I think that there's like, we've got an amazing, set of action figures coming out from Diamond Select Toys, which I think look fantastic.
They do.
Yeah. I'm really excited for what those guys are doing with those over there. At some point, I do not know, so this is all just me, like my wish list of stuff, but some sort of we've always talked about an action fighting game with Invincible.
Oh, yes.
I mean honestly, if you did something that was simple, like a 2D Street Fighter game where it's just Capcom SNK style, where they're just beating the crap out of each other, that'd be amazing. Yeah. Or if you got something where it's like, the what's the Dragon Ball Z one? That's it's an awesome 3D fighter.
It's kind of that cell shaded. It looks amazing.
Yeah, something like that would be. I mean, that would blow my mind. There's always stuff we're always trying to percolate on, and I don't handle the video game stuff, and that's Dan Murray and Ian Howe, and those guys do an amazing job of shepherding our stuff there. Yeah. And look, if we can take something with the Invincible properties and do something like we did with The Walking Dead and build like a Clementine, there's so much stuff to play in that world. So if we can get an Invincible game that has its own life, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've talked about these a lot too, and what's cool is, years ago, Skybound didn't have a games division or a tabletop division or anything like that. I've got a closet, floor to ceiling of board games. Give me anything board game wise, Invincible would be incredible too. But we always talk about that stuff. I mean, we were working on a couple different ideas for that stuff last year, and just as we go through it, the pandemic kind of shifted gears on a lot of things. But that's definitely a piece that we've always kind of had in our pocket. Like, how can we do a cool miniature game and do something with Invincible? Oh yeah,
definitely. Just a suggestion, and this one's for free. Okay.
Good.
You can take this. You can take this.
I appreciate the
generosity. This is all for you.
The charity.
How do we not have Invincible related Super Fight cards?
That's a really good idea. We have not done that yet. We should probably.
I mean, we did it.
Have you listened to the Super Fight episode at all, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, come on. So great. Sean Kirkham.
It's so goofy.
Is the Invincible podcast #1 fan?
I mean, I'm all over it.
So I'll ask you a hard-hitting question here.
Oh, good Lord.
Speaking of collaborations and merchandise, will we be getting Invincible apparel, new Invincible apparel in 2021? Don't pull the plug, Shauna.
That is,
he looked.
Shauna, shush.
Look at him looking.
Okay, am I okay?
I mean,
There is absolutely going to be new Invincible merch.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure he said that on a Comics Vault Live. There might be some Invincible T-shirts.
Apparel.
Apparel, yes, apparel.
No,
okay,
you heard it here first.
We actually, I'll put it out there too. I mean, we've been, as of course the pandemic shift all sorts of business units, but we moved over to an amazing print on demand partner, which allows us to kind of do a lot more styles and colorways and sizes. And so that's definitely going to be happening very soon.
Cool.
Awesome.
What's some before Bill and TJ ask any more questions like that, what's some comics you've been reading lately? Like what's some current pull list stuff?
What's on my pull list? I'm really excited for, man, I'm an X-Men fan, so all the stuff that's kind of come out of, the House and Powers of X stuff, I've been really digging that. Oh my gosh, Stillwater. Not to be a homer.
Stillwater is fucking awesome.
Stuff, but man, I fucking love Stillwater.
Stillwater's great.
We've got a thing coming out soon, Ultra Mega from James Herron, which is out of this world fucking cool. That guy is one of the top.
That's next month, right?
I was gonna say no. Yeah. Next month? Okay. March. Cool.
Yeah, it's March.
It looks insane.
Yeah. It's so good. There's stuff in there that I remember Sean Makowitz telling me, like, hey, there's this thing gonna happen in this book, and then I was like, that sounds epic as fuck. And then when you see it, you're like, holy smokes, that is ridiculous. Yeah, so that's one. Also, I'm really excited for Kyle Higgins' new book, Radiant Black, that's coming out.
Yes. Did you read it?
It's pretty cool.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's
pretty cool.
It is good. Yeah.
We might have something special going with that too for Comics Vault Live.
Shit.
So.
Oh man. Oh my god.
Cool.
Yeah. You guys heard it here first.
Yeah,
there will be a Radiant Black Comics Vault Live variant coming out.
He's got.
Can I get a foghorn?
Let's see.
Exclusive. Yeah.
DJ, do you know what a foghorn sounds like?
That's a. I will put a foghorn on here next time when we do it for you, Tim.
Perfect.
I do have a sad trombone on here. If you guys want to hear that.
You could have played that after my Battle Beast question.
Sound effects are cool, guys.
They are. We need a soundboard. How have we done this for 5 years without a soundboard?
You guys have to. This I got this Rodecaster Pro here. It's pretty dope.
Go ahead, Bill.
Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
I was going to ask if you can. I know it's way too early, but how's this this cruise thing come about out of nowhere? That sounds pretty cool.
I mean, what cruise? There's a survey about a cruise.
And it's funny because until we started talking, I was like, you know what? You were talking about Walking Dead and how crazy it is. And I'm like, you know what? You guys have done the Walker Stalker cruises.
Yeah.
So, I mean, cruise ships aren't a new thing for you guys. So, I mean, we were talking about it this week after the survey went up, TJ and I, and how, our thoughts on it. But yeah, no, that's just, it's an interesting thing. And again, you guys are, when it comes to the expos and Comics Vault Live, and you guys are, out there trying to do new things and testing the waters. Ah!
Yeah.
Posing!
Whoa, testing the waters, man. That was fucking good. That was really good. I'm giving one of these.
Yes.
Yeah, we ended up our partners at Six Man. So we did the Walker Stalker cruises for a couple years, and those were amazing. And Six Man is the company that puts on these cruises. They do stuff, for Paramore and 311 and Kid Rock and Kiss, and they do all this stuff, and they were fantastic to work with. And they said, "Hey, do you think there could be some interest in a comic cruise?" And we're like, "Yeah, let's check it out." So we decided let's put out a survey to see what the general interest is. And so we've got the survey up on our website and our social media. And so, for anyone who's interested in what a comic convention cruise could be like with Skybound and Image, let's see what we can put together. So
yeah,
I mean, nothing is set in stone yet, but we're just exploring it. But I think it would be fucking awesome. And I think a lot of the response that we had, and look, we're still in the thick of this fucking thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think people are seeing that there's some light at the end of the tunnel, and there's something to be excited about. And I think it's like one of those things where I miss conventions so much right now that I'm like, I just want to get on a Zoom call with 80 people and just like, smell BO and eat Cheetos and stuff like that. And I just want to be like at a convention. But I think like people are, I mean, the response that we saw was amazing. People were super excited about the idea that there's something out there. And I think a comic cruise would be pretty cool. And a lot of creators hit me up too. They're like, hey, what is this? What's going on? And like, I want to be involved. So I think I think if it comes together and if we're able to get through all the mess and everyone gets vaccinated, we can figure out what's a way to do it safe. And I don't know if you guys have been on cruises, but everyone I've been on with the Walker Soccer crew and the Norwegian Cruise Line, everything has been tip top, like cool. Super clean, always washy your hands as you go through the buffet room. And I've never felt unsafe, you know?
Yeah.
And they have soft serve machines that you can hit up at any time of the night, like amazeballs.
Yeah, we've all three of us have been on several cruises, and it's awesome. And I mean, those weren't comic book related, and those weren't like Skybound related. So that's like the dream vacation, the dream cruise. So that would be amazing. I saw that Donnie Cates hit you up on Twitter trying to get on there. That's all. I mean, Donnie Cates, I'm good.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like I'm good right there.
Yeah, if we get Donnie and Meg on there, like we don't need anyone else on the cruise. Like they got it covered, right?
Who needs Robert Kirkman when you got? I'm just kidding.
It's almost scary to think about. It's almost scary to think about how huge the next con is going to be. Like the first con out of a like apocalyptic pandemic. I could only imagine how freaking insane it's going to be. So
it would have to just sell out, and then
well, yeah,
like San Diego Comic-Con just sells out.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like the energy is going to be fucking through the roof.
Yeah.
I think honestly, it's one of the things I feel that, and I'll steal this from someone that I heard talking about going to their first concert back. Like, I'm going to cry. Like, it's going to be one of the things like, I'm going to be so overwhelmed with emotions and be like, oh my God, this is it. And, like you guys know, like when you go to a show, you have friends in your circle that you only see at shows. Right. And it's once a year I see this person and we're best friends for 5 or 6 days or whatever. And you get, oh my God, I get to see you again. And then like you're off and I don't see them in our circle until I go to the next show. And it's like, holy shit, I miss that, and it's not the same over Zoom and it's not this, same, over emails or whatever. And just being able to hang out with people and like our crew, we have an amazing group of volunteers that come out with us and who've been with us for, 7-8 years. And I don't get to see these folks. And like, we spend 5 or 6 shows together a year hanging out. And, I want to be able to do that with my crew again,
Yeah.
Yeah. We've had, through doing this podcast, we got to meet a lot of people that listen to us for some reason we still don't understand, but getting to meet people like that, I miss that too. And I go to like every convention that I can. So I'm itching to get back out there too. So I just want to go to a cruise, man.
Just think of all the money that you've been able to save up during this time too. Like, oh my gosh, everyone's going to spend so much loot when they're out there buying stuff again.
Yeah, especially I just want to go.
TJ would spend thousands and thousands of dollars. Like we'd be like, where the fuck did you get this money from? And then remember one time, TJ, didn't you just find like $500 in your backpack one time?
Wasn't that I forgot about.
Oh, don't you remember? Like that was a show I lent you $500.
Oh,
remember, TJ? Like I gave like, hey, here's $500. Hold this for me while I go to the bathroom.
That wasn't smart because I spent.
You spent his money? Oh, you fucking.
Yeah, it's right. It's over his left shoulder. It's right there.
I got him.
That's that one.
Yeah. All my Invincible.
I just want to go to a movie.
That's a pretty strong flex of all your Invincible pages up there. Like I'm trying to I'm like, oh, okay, I know where that one's from. I don't know what that one's from.
I got the Death or Explode.
Oh man, that guy.
First Terra. Well, you're crazy. You're crazy.
So good. Those are awesome.
Thank you.
What was the last movie you saw in a movie theater?
It's like I can't even remember. That's sad.
Doesn't that suck?
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog for
me.
Which thank God. It was a good one.
I don't want that to be the last one I saw though. Yeah. It sucks.
Maybe one day. Maybe the next one will be the Invincible movie. Hopefully not that long. No.
Hopefully not. No.
It's going to be a little bit before that comes out. Like I'd like to go see something. Let me get James Bond first, Good
segue. Cast Mark Grayson.
Oh,
told you, man.
Steven Yeun.
I was about to say, I'll give it to you. I'll give you an easy one.
He's got to go. He's got to go hit the gym like Zac Efron did. You know, that dude just got how he got ripped as hell for Baywatch. Like, let's have Steven Yeun just go like crush it and get really yoked, and then he can be Mark Grayson in the film.
They can almost do a 1-to-1 with the voice cast to the live action. It's that perfect in several cases.
Absolutely.
And Steven doesn't have to get jacked right away because Mark was still he looked like me, you know what I mean? In the first little bit there. So he can slowly progress to turn into something bigger.
Yeah.
And there's so much you can do with like green screen and motion capture anyways. You can make it look pretty good.
Yeah.
Right. Have you watched we're huge like animation fans, obviously. We're fans of everything, but like Avatar, Last Airbender, Legend of Korra with freaking oh my god. So like Tenzin, like have you met J.K. Simmons? Like were you able to like sit and like talk?
No.
Would you die? They just die.
I would lose my mind because I mean, he's so good.
Yeah.
I also get really triggered by I played drums in high school, so every time I see Whiplash, I'm just like, I can't do this anymore.
Don't you get like sick to your stomach, nauseous, like when they're on stage? And oh my god, dude, I was in choir, like jazz choir, swing choir, a cappella groups, and we did like all that New York State NISMA stuff and like those competitions. And I remember like I can almost not watch Whiplash without getting nauseous, without getting sick to my stomach, nauseous.
I've been very vocal about how that is my number one favorite movie. And when he like what Bill's talking about how nauseous you get when he looks at him and he says, "I know what you did." Oh god. Yeah.
Yeah, so gutted. Gutted. I definitely I do not look back on those days with many fun memories, but like there are some good ones. But then most of them were just like, oh man, our band instructor was a complete a-hole, and I just remember like being a 14-year-old. I'm like, I'm gonna punch this guy in the fucking face. Like, this is gonna happen.
But that's literally that movie is why like when they were like J.K. Simmons is Omni-Man. It's going to be fucking insane. Like when
I'm
it gets to
embarrassed
those
that
moments,
we didn't think of it though, because it is that perfect. Like how did none of us fan cast that? That's just too perfect.
I don't know. I think it's because we saw him like and heard him as like Tenzin. They were like, "There's no fucking way." Like you know what I mean? But hearing like, have you watched Final Space at all?
No.
Oh,
check it out.
It's great.
Check it out.
Okay.
Yeah. So Steven Yeun, he plays Little Kato, the son of Avocado, who is a cat creature in this show. And it is that sounds ridiculous, but I shed tears.
It's such a great show
and cried at
2 seasons, 10 episodes each, I think.
Oh, you know what? I saw it pop up and it was like TBS or Adult Swim or something like that. I remember like it was. I was like, I should probably watch it. And I just think like it was one of the things you just like didn't catch it when it came out.
Yeah. It starts out really goofy, but then it's one of those shows that starts out a little goofy, and then the story like kicks in.
There's a moment,
and it's insane.
Like,
I compare it a lot to like Futurama, where it's like ridiculous, but then it's like the most heartfelt thing that you could ever watch and see.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, it's very like kind of Robert Kirkman, where it starts out and it's like, Invincible or Walking Dead. You think you know what it is, and it's fucking not what you think it is.
No, that's pretty amazing. All right, I'll put that on the queue. We'll pop that in.
Yeah, check it out. I think it's Hulu now. But I was talking to our friend Wyatt Layne. He does all the music for the show and everything. And I mentioned to him that we were hoping to record with you this week, and he did have a question. I wanna pose to you because I like this question. He's basically asking what if you can get a one-off comic of any Image character, Is there a character that you want
Best
more
Tiger.
of? Best Tiger?
Yes.
Perfect answer.
You have all the right answers.
I honestly, it's a thing I mentioned. Like we've mentioned a bunch of times. Like
it didn't even have to be Invincible.
Who is this character? This guy is so dope. Yeah. And Best Tiger. Period. Done.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, Battle Beast is a hard number. Like I don't know. There's something about Best Tiger I thought it was just like such a cool character. Like. I grew up a big G.I. Joe fan and love all spy stuff and whatever. And I was like, this guy, I'm getting some like definitely Snake Eyes vibes from this guy. He's like a spy, assassin, and whatever, and like just all that stuff. Yeah,
his a one-off comic, Battle Beast versus Best Tiger.
I mean, I really don't know who would win in that one.
That'd be a good
kind of
fight.
crazy.
It would be best Tiger. Best Tiger.
Best Tiger's issue in his focus issue.
I was just gonna say that
in Invincible Universe.
Actually, I will say this too, though. I would love, man. I reread the last issue of Invincible from time to time, just because it's one of those things where it's like it's the fact that it's like here's two stories, it's so different. But there's parts like Ingstrom Levy's son. Like I want that. Like where is that stuff? And he's got that like little fox guy on him. I'm like,
the fox,
where's that? Give me more of that, Robert.
He did such a good job, man. We all know this. We've talked about it so many times, but just the way he was able to weave that story and just do the thing where he peppers in throughout this gap of time all these cool storylines that seemed like they were just like, yeah, these are storylines I'll get to someday, but here they are. They exist. They still happened. They're it's just so good, so great.
I think that it's important to create a really fleshed out world that just because you stopped reading this book or because the book ended doesn't mean that there's not more in that universe, And I think that's what he did at the end, is that he was like, this is still a living, breathing world. And even though we don't get to watch it anymore yet, per se, maybe, it still leaves you like wonder, like the conversation that we're having right now. Like this is the whole point of it, like
but what makes it so genius is everything that you just said, Bill, but at the same time, the opposite of that, because he did have, he definitively
everything you just said, but the opposite,
but because it's both. Different. Because it's both. He did leave all this room open, but he ended it definitively. Yeah. You know what I mean? He said that he didn't want to see Invincible in another writer's hands. He didn't want it to go to that point. So he left all these areas open, but we still got bits and pieces of the stories that could have been told. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, it's also weird too. I don't know if you guys saw that weird thing that popped up a couple like last month or the month before, but like. That weird Solid Blood 17 that came out, that really strange book that just appeared out of nowhere.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just like, there's Robert Kirkman does weird stuff in every universe that he's in. So like, I'm sure that there's one universe where there's more cool tales of Invincible.
There's actually, another. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say he worked with that universe's Corey Walker to make Dropkick, right?
Yeah. I mean, Dropkick, one of the best. I mean, that world's Walking Dead, if you don't know.
That's right.
There was another kind of interesting thing that we saw where Corey Walker drew King Immortal.
Yeah, we definitely didn't talk about that for weeks. And speculate
and read into it.
And we definitely don't read into anything. No.
Shauna's got her hand on the plug.
She's holding a cat. She's like, I will shoot my cat Mamba if you say this word.
Yeah.
It's like that classic Justice League International or Europe cover was like, if you don't buy this book, the cat dies. Look, Corey can draw whatever the hell he wants, and I'll gush over it no matter what. Yeah. Like, and anytime Corey draws something from the Invincible universe, I'm just like, give me more.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything you want to add, or you got Comics Vault Live coming out now? The next Comics Vault Live is going to be part of the Expo next month, February.
Expo. Next Expo.
I think it was the Creators Expo.
Creators Expo. Yep.
Yeah. We're gonna see
February 19th.
February 19th. We going to see any Invincible in this one, or maybe the upcoming?
Definitely line up some cool Invincible stuff. Robert definitely has helped pepper out some really cool stuff. And I also went and dug out and found some really cool older issues. I think in the last Invincible or last CBL, I had a couple of Invincible things. And Invincible Universe was in there. Invincible 100 wraparound. I found some other kind of cool gems that will be popping out. And then there might be some Foil Fever on the horizon too.
Sweet.
So there's really cool there's cool stuff coming out.
That's exciting. All right, dude. Thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun.
Guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And look, I do listen to the show, not as much as I should, but I definitely will listen to it more now that I'm on it. So I appreciate it.
I have a feeling we've got some good episodes coming up too, though. There's going to be some stuff to talk about. So that's exciting.
I mean, that is the kind of nice thing that there's there's some cool stuff coming out.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, we did 3 years since the comic book ended. Talking about stuff. Now it's exciting to talk about new stuff.
You guys have so much credit for chugging along that entire time. We're at some point something's going to happen with this. We just love this enough to do it without any hope or reward or anything. We're just going to keep chugging away. That says a lot about you guys, and you guys are persistent.
Thank you. I appreciate
it.
That
is true.
It's our love for Invincible, and
you guys make it easy.
You guys are doing.
Oh, I don't do shit, but Robert does everything. He'll tell you he does it all too, so it's great. But yeah, also and those of you who don't know, we were supposed to have you guys out at San Diego Comic-Con this year. You guys were going to be our guests, as we were going to, hopefully everything was going to line up, that we're going to debut the trailer and do all this fanfare or whatever. And then, of course, I don't blame you guys for COVID, but, something could have happened.
Oh, man. Yeah.
It had to happen. To keep us away.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's all right.
That's just life.
It's all right. There's more. There'll be other Comic-Cons. There'll be other things. So
it could have just been a whole plan of Robert's the entire time to make sure that everyone's stuck at home while we release the show, so you have to watch the Invincible show,
there
right?
You go.
Do what you gotta do.
That's right.
I like it. It's good stuff.
Nice.
All right. Thank you so much,
again.
man.
It was awesome.
Awesome, guys. Thanks again. I really appreciate it, and keep up the good work.
Thanks.
Excellent. Bye.
Awesome. Bye, guys.
And we're back. Once again, thank you so much, Sean, for chatting with us. That was a blast. So, fucking air horn. All right, we got a bunch of Invincible news to talk about here. I don't know what day it was, but you can still find it over on Skybound's YouTube, the live stream that Hector Navarro did with Robert Kirkman, where they revealed a clip from the animated series. So, Bill, I want to start with you, because we haven't really talked about this. What did you think of the clip?
I thought it was great. I think that it showed enough for fans of the comic to actually be really, really excited, because it actually added a lot to that scene. And I think enough for people who don't know what it is, because it's just a very unique kind of situation in a superhero scenario, So I thought it was great. And then I was worried that it was going to keep going, because then it showed
there were a couple of times where
and I'm like, oh no, and then it showed him on the crane. I'm like, what the fuck, are we going to watch the whole episode? Mm-hmm. But it got me too excited, and I got let down when it ended. But I thought it was fucking great.
I was something that I was really excited about was, and we didn't get to see this too much with the teaser trailer, was seeing the animation and the voice acting in a clip, as a completed thing, and you get pieces of the animation style as things are happening on in a crazy teaser trailer. Everything's moving and happening really fast, but seeing it in motion and what it's going to look like when they throw the ball and when they catch it,
felt very real. It felt like oh no, this is actually happening. Because trailers, to your point, they seem kind of it doesn't. That just seemed very real, like it was happening. It was surreal almost seeing it in action.
Yeah, and of course the voices were awesome. J.K. and Stephen Young did awesome. And again, I just loved the animation, man. That classic hand drawn style with and then seeing art. TJ, what do you think?
Yeah, everything I was saying before, I loved the foreshadowing of everything that Omni-Man was saying to Invincible, saying, you're going to have to do things that you don't want to do. And, all that stuff was awesome. Just the sound itself, the sound of the baseball hitting Mark's glove, the music and how everything flowed.
The music was awesome.
It's so good. It's so good. I can't wait.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Bill.
No, I was just going to say, in our reaction to the teaser trailer, Ryan, I think you were so that one scene where they're throwing the ball and the mountain gets hit, you're like, I don't know if that's actually the baseball hitting that, and you thought it was the fight, but I think it kind of clearly showed that it was
the baseball. It was a fun little thing where it's hey, maybe they inserted a scene from the fight, because it looked a lot like a panel from the comic.
It was actually
when they're fighting.
It was actually someone who wrote in with that theory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So TJ, you mentioned the words Nolan was saying, though. I did really like that, how he's saying, like, hey, there's gonna be some times where you're gonna have to do things that you don't want to do. That's great. Great foreshadowing. And setting up that relationship between them and having all that is gonna be really cool. I mean, not only does it mean what's gonna happen with Nolan and the Guardians, but what is gonna happen with Nolan and Mark, and what Mark's going to have to do. And there's that just so perfectly sets up, so many different things. Really, really great.
I think he was trying not to already talk about the show, but I think that he was kind of testing the waters. Like, I actually need you to help me conquer this planet. Like, that's not necessarily something that you're going to want to
cool
do.
Too. Yeah.
Like it felt like after watching it again, I was like, it kind of seems like he's actually talking about something specific. Yeah, he's like getting him ready.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Art's voice, we got to hear Mark Hamill for a second there.
Yeah.
Sounds like an old man.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah. I like that he was holding Rexplode's costume. At least it certainly looks like it. Same colors and everything.
Yeah, it's definitely Rexplode's.
Yeah. All right. After the clip, Robert Kirkman gave us a release date. Now, I can't remember what it was. Bill, what?
That is the last Friday in March, which is exactly what I predicted, March 26th.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations, Bill. Good job.
Thank you.
We've been doing this
I won.
podcast for 5 years. We've been doing this podcast for 5 years, and it's the first time you've been right about anything. So dude, now we're going to never hear the end of it.
But I was right about it so much. Like, I was so right.
Believe you got it on the date, the exact
date.
To the
day.
Oh,
dude. Like, I was at work. I mean, we have the reaction video up to us watching the clip on YouTube, and that my reaction didn't end after. Like, I went out and I was like, I was fucking right. I called everyone that I knew. I called my mom.
Talking to customers. You bitch, I was fucking right.
My mom's like, what's Invincible? I'm like, it doesn't matter, Mom. That didn't happen.
No,
but
Invincible is.
Yeah. But I was on cloud 9. That's for sure.
Yep. So what do we think? We got WandaVision right now. I know we mentioned this. I think we mentioned it with Sean, but we've got Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming up. I mean, how does this sit with you guys for a release date? I mean, we got, what is it, the Justice League a couple days before. You think this is releasing at a good time?
WandaVision is going to be...
It'll be over.
Almost done. Yeah.
No, it will be over by then, because Falcon and Winter Soldier will be starting up.
I think it's a good release date because people are still kind of stuck in their homes, so it'll give them something.
Here's the thing. Like, I build my excitement throughout the week over one night, and it's Friday right now. And it's because I watch Hell's Kitchen, and then immediately we watch WandaVision, and then that's it. Like, I get one day for an hour and a half, really, to kind of enjoy TV. So I think, honestly, it could be loaded with shit. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. People, to your point, TJ, like, everyone's home. Like, and I almost think that the more watchable stuff that there is, the better, because people will be like, it's sit down and watch TV time. You know what I mean? I think that it's great. The more stuff that's out, the better, because people are setting up their schedules to watch stuff.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, though, there is a show coming out that I am quite looking forward to, and it premieres on March 26th.
What?
And
what is it?
It is Mighty Ducks Game Changer on Disney Plus, and Emilio Estevez is coming back as Coach Bombay.
That's a movie or a series?
It's a show. Oh. It looks legit.
I thought it was a movie.
So good.
Yeah, it does. I remember the trailer looking pretty good.
Thank God.
Hey, we got Godzilla vs. Kong too, I think, that week.
It got pushed back. It got pushed back to the 30th, which is weird. So now it releases on a Wednesday, but thank fucking God, because honestly, I'm so excited about that movie that I don't know if I would have been able to even live on Friday, like, with everything that would be coming out.
There's a lot. I mean, there seems to be a lot of stuff going on, but at the same time, I think people are just so hungry for stuff that, like you said, Bill, I mean, Katie and I do the same thing. I look forward to Fridays, because Friday, Katie and I get to watch like an hour and a half of TV shows that we're really into right now. and then I just wait for Friday again. So
and then that's it. Yeah.
So I think it'd be great. But I think just as exciting, if not more exciting, we got a release schedule, something that we've been theorizing about and questioning for so long. And
no,
I feel like
we knew that it would be week to week. I think
we
TJ was the only one who thought it would be.
We hoped.
All at once.
I was the only one. I was the one that said that they would do it like The Boys. They would release 3 episodes and then it'd be week to week after that.
Yeah, but
I was the one that said that.
2 years ago or whatever it was when the show was announced was a different day. I mean, that was a different time where I think the norm was to release all at once, was the binge method. And that's and it was, and over these last couple of years, which has been great thanks to things like Mandalorian and everything, and The Boys, they're starting to do weekly again. Just like Robert Kirkman said in the live stream, we don't want the all at once type thing. People want to have that excitement and stay in the zeitgeist, stay in the conversation, and talk about the newest thing that happened.
But it's weird though, because I feel like that's not the case with a lot of people. A lot of people are upset. They're used to the binge type stuff, and I just think that's crazy. It's so much fun to talk about it.
Sean said it right in the interview that we just listened to, where he's like, people forgot how to watch TV. Like, the people that are mad about it are fucking Generation ZX or whatever it is. Like the newest of the new generation that grew up on Netflix streaming and not cable. Like,
but to be fair, are these people that are complaining not watching it week to week? Are they still watching it and still enjoying it? You know what I mean?
Yes,
they still are. They've got to be. So they're just complaining.
It's such a hater culture. Like,
no, I know. Because
you don't like one thing about one thing, you're gonna go on Reddit and start a thread, and it's gonna just get momentum. Like, I hate it because I mean, I want to watch the trailer. I want to watch any clip that they release. I want to watch any leaked footage that's out. I want to watch everything that I possibly can. But I still thoroughly enjoy week to week, because then the next day I can go and know that the person that I'm going to talk to about it did not watch any more than me. And I can be like, bro, what did you think of this?
Yeah.
You know, like, that's the whole point of
years.
a show.
We've had years and years of watching TV like that. That is what TV always has been. So no, I think this is great.
Not only that, but it's over. It's like, it's over. TJ, I loved the fact that we watched Bly Manor like a week to week basis. You know, we could have watched it all in one shot, but TJ came over and we watched it like, you know, one time a week for 5 weeks or whatever it was. And I think that's the most intelligent thing to do. And I think that gives the show more longevity.
I feel like I enjoy things like that even more that way. I always have. Like, I like to sit on things and think about it and discuss it in between just like binging all the way through it and then just having one quick discussion at the very end. You know, like it's done and over with. What'd you think? Like like Kirkman said on the interview with Hector.
But that's not all.
Also, like, go back a second
ahead.
And just talk about like how surprised I was to even get a clip. We weren't expecting that.
No,
I was totally expecting like a trailer.
I was expecting the full length trailer. Yep.
And we're still getting a trailer.
And as soon as they start saying clip, you know, you could see in the reactions, we're like, what? It's like, do we want to see this? Yeah.
And we got all that, and then at the end, Kirkman says that we're still getting a full-length trailer in the coming weeks.
Yeah. So, but before that, still talking about the release schedule, 3 episodes at first. So exactly like The Boys. We've got a few questions coming up, so we'll get to them in a little bit, but we're going to answer them now anyways. What do you guys think of this? What is if you guys were writing, and we've done this for years, if you guys were writing the show and blocking out these episodes, what is the hit that has to end that 3rd episode?
The Guardians getting slaughtered. 100%.
Yeah.
So I don't know where it's going to end because I made this prediction before and I'm sticking with it. I think that the Guardians are going to be killed separately. Not like the comics where they're all killed all at once. I think that Omni-Man is going to go around and kill certain people. You're not going to obviously see that it's Omni-Man right away, but I think it's going to be, they're going to be slowly killed off throughout the entire first season.
Do you think the end of the 3rd episode is like one of those Guardians being killed by someone and we don't know who?
Or the last one and then it's found out that it's Nolan killing them?
And he was killing them over the course of 3?
I feel like a Guardian has to die like within the first half of the first episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. That's maybe not the first half, but they need to die in the first.
That's not entirely.
has to die in the first episode. Maybe that's how the first episode ends.
I can see that, because then you see that this show is more than an origin story about Mark. Like there's something sinister going on that's driving, you know, the show thus far. So I think that, even though I hate to agree with you, TJ, and I think that one Guardian, okay, can get killed in the first episode, and then nothing will happen with that, and Nolan will slaughter the rest of the Guardians
at the end of the third.
At the end of the third.
And is that also when you think he'd be revealed? Guardian,
I think like maybe Immortal is probably the first one to probably go. In the first one, they're like, "Oh my God, Immortal's
because
dead."
He's got to be the last.
Yeah, he has to be last.
Why?
No, I guess not. Especially because he's coming back.
Because he's immortal. Like, he's the first one. He could, you know what? He could come back in the third episode and be like, "It was Nolan," and then he slaughters everybody. Boom. That's what's going to happen. Look at TJ's face. We're recording. You guys can't see this, but TJ's face is like, "Oh yeah, that's what's going to happen."
No, that is not what my face is saying. But just to be clear, are you saying, so you're saying that one Guardian is going to die and then the rest of them are all going to die at the same time?
I think that one Guardian is going to die. There's going to be interspersed scenes where they're trying to figure out who killed the Immortal, because it's going to be the Immortal. And then at the end, they're going to figure out who did it, and Nolan is going to then slaughter everybody at the end of the third episode.
Because Bill, like, you got March 26th, and that was like a huge feat, and then you just ruined your track record right there.
Yeah, I M. Night Shyamalan myself, didn't I?
Yeah.
I released Avatar, the live-action movie.
I'm saying a Guardian will die in the first episode, and then the rest will be gradual throughout the season.
I'm saying all of them at the end of 3.
You don't think even one until the third episode, Ryan? Not even one?
I say that, but then I think, man, are they really going to have 3 hours of Invincible with the Guardians all being alive and doing stuff, which would be awesome, but...
Ryan.
Because then their deaths mean something, you know what I mean? Like,
I want that. I want that.
Ryan, Clancy Brown is playing Damien Darkblood.
Yes,
they have to build his character.
No, because he'll show up in episode 4, still be going around in episode 5, and then episode 6, and then we got 7, and then we got 8. Like, he's still going to be around.
Did you know, TJ, did you know that Clancy Brown... I'm sorry.
What? What?
Clancy Brown.
It's the foghorn.
Was in the last season of Rick and Morty, and I think he played more than one character, but he was in 15 fucking seconds in one episode.
Yeah,
yes,
we've talked
just a random character.
But we know that Kirkman intended on doing more with Damien Darkblood than he did in the comic. This is his chance to do that.
5 minutes will be more than what he got in the comic. I'm just saying,
dude.
All these actors deserve hours of screen time. It doesn't mean that they're going to get it.
All right. Well, you know what? We have our predictions. The Guardians are going to die gradually throughout. Bill thinks that only one is going to die in the first episode, and then the rest are going to die altogether. And Ryan thinks that they're all going to die together, just like the comic, at the end of the third episode. So we're good.
We'll see.
So we all, but we're all in agreement that this is going to happen within the first 3 episode arc. Yeah.
Well, in my prediction, not all the Guardians will be dead at the end of the third. There'll still be more after that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. But lock it in. That'll be fun. Again, for the record, I don't care. I think it's going to be cool either way. I like all those answers.
Yeah,
I mean, whatever.
No matter what.
So they're also doing the hashtag Invincible Friday, which is something the official Invincible Twitter handle is going to be doing leading up to the show, where they talk about or reread through some of the Invincible issues. But then once the show's out, they're going to be doing watch along type things with the cast. The cast is going to be tweeting along using hashtag Invincible Friday.
That's really cool.
That's going to be cool. That's going to be really neat. Yeah, they did mention there was going to be a full trailer in the coming weeks. We talked about it with Sean, how we're nervous about it being showing too much, but obviously still very excited for that. Yeah, I think that's it. We definitely have more to talk about, but as far as that news, you know what? I think I'm going to bring up a few questions that we got on Twitter.
You know what's really crazy? Can I go off for a second?
Yeah, go off.
Can I just go off?
Mm-hmm.
Ryan sounds thrilled.
I'm just reading. I'm reading. Go ahead.
We got a whole clip of Invincible We got a whole teaser trailer. We still have not seen or heard Alan as Seth Rogen as Alan.
Yep.
We'll definitely see it in the trailer.
Here's a great question for you guys. Who do you think we will hear in the full-length trailer, and who are you most excited to hear? That's
Alan.
The question. Alan is for both of those?
Alan and obviously Rex Splode, because I'm curious about that. Because with him being my favorite character, I'm anxious. I guess is the best word.
Mm-hmm.
I'm anxious for Rex Splode because
I would have
Alan.
I would have said J.K. Simmons as Nolan. I think I'm almost more excited to see. I would agree Seth Rogen as Alan, but I think seeing Nolan, maybe having a little bit more of his anger, like emotional side. I'm excited to see something like that because, like, we've only ever seen J.K. Simmons do that in.
But you think we'll get that in the trailer?
Whiplash. I think we probably could. Why not? Why we can't see that this Superman-esque figure is maybe a little unhinged, and you're like, I'm questioning his morality. I think you're wrong, TJ. You know what?
I don't want
Pizza bet, TJ. I think we're going to see Nolan raise his
too many bets
in the fucking trailer. Well,
there
we go.
I am most excited for. I agree with TJ, Alan, as well as Eve. I can't wait to hear Adam Eve.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, and Robot, Zachary Quinto. Oh my God.
Yeah, duh. Dude. Zachary Quinto is, I think, the voice of Robot in my head, which is why I'm very confident about that.
Mm-hmm.
Eve has a very specific tone, attitude in my brain and in my heart where I'm nervous to hear her. Like, I'm nervous to hear her. I don't.
I feel like the same. I feel the same with Alan.
I haven't heard. Yeah. The same exact thing for Alan and Seth Rogen. Like, is it going to change?
Mark and Nolan both sound like they
sound like Mark and Nolan.
They sound like Mark and Nolan. Yeah, I'm interested to see who it's going to be. Where it's like, oh, okay, that's going to take a minute. It's still good, but
right.
Yeah, so we'll see. Oh, man, we might see it in this trailer too. All right, I'm going to go through a couple questions here. We got Mitch Krasen over on Twitter asked, when will more seasons be approved/announced? What do you guys think are Amazon's success metrics for an animated show like this?
You and I were talking about this not too long ago.
I feel like when it comes to announcing next seasons, a lot of time Amazon does it well in advance. At least they have lately with The Boys. I don't think they will until well after the first season of this. I mean, maybe not well after.
Announced that it was approved?
That it's greenlit for a second season, yeah. I don't think we'll know whether it was greenlit for a second season until the final 2 weeks of this season coming out.
Amazon could be very, very confident and already ordered a second season from.
That's very possible.
From them. You know what I mean? They could have seen it and been like, this is going to be a huge fucking hit, and already ordered a second season. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens a lot, with like The Boys. They knew that The Boys was going to be a runaway hit. They knew it.
I don't think I kind of agree where I don't think that we're even going to get news that it was greenlit for a second season. It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Oh.
As far as their metrics go for success, I don't know. I don't know this well enough. I don't know if I'm knowledgeable enough to answer that.
I think greenlighting the second season of an animated show is a hell of a lot easier to do than a very high budget live action thing. I feel like they're more likely to get greenlit for a second season just because, I
disagree though, because I feel like it's more. I feel like it's more difficult to make just because it's animated and it's, obviously maybe cheaper, but more difficult to make.
All right, I got one from Ben from the Nerds Chatting podcast.
Ben, oi!
Oi,
Ben.
Oi, Ben.
Ben says, okay, so I'll be very careful here due to spoilers. However, I will say this. It's happening. Oh my gosh, it's happening. It's going to be here next month. My question is, how are you able to cope with Bill's massive ego for guessing the right release date?
Oh man.
Yeah.
He obviously doesn't know me well enough because that comment stroked my ego, and
Yeah,
I'm going to live off of that for a little bit longer.
I was just about to say, we cope by not bringing it up.
By not bringing it up. I love that Gray Griffin, voice of Azula, commented on this tweet with just fire. She's also the voice of Shrinking Ray and Amanda, which is awesome. We got Tony One Kenobi.
She commented on what?
On the tweet saying that we got a great episode planned, and if you have any questions or feedback or something, reply below. Tony One Kenobi says, how many issues of the book would you say the first season covers?
I have no fucking idea anymore. I really don't. Where does Mars come into play?
My prediction was, what was it? Issue 28. I predicted that season 1 was going to end with like the big ending cliffhanger was going to be him going to
Thraxa.
Get out of here. Going to Thraxa and opening up a door and there's Nolan and he's like, "Hello, son," and then it ends. And I still kind of feel like that because we know that Martian's going to be in it, like the Martian.
Yeah. Mars
Emperor.
is
and the
18.
sequence stuff.
Mars is 18.
Yeah.
Him going to his dad is 25.
Yes.
I can see 25. I feel like 25 is a good place.
Yes. And then you like that. It's a good place to end, especially for fans of the comic, because then you're like, holy shit. Next issue, we're gonna get Baby Oliver. We're gonna
you mean next season?
Angstrom Levy.
TJ, if you think that 8 episodes is going to end with Nolan being off planet for a while, then you cannot believe truly that the Guardians are not all going to be dead at the end of episode 3. They have to be, just from your timing standpoint.
Right.
Think about what has to happen in 5, 6, 7, and 8. 4 more episodes, bro.
I agree. I totally agree.
Or 5 more episodes.
And that's kind of what I was going to say. At the same time, I kind of feel like they're going to go the whole first season and then reveal Nolan at the end. I feel like episode 7 is going to end with their conversation and then Nolan gritting his teeth and tightening his fist. And then episode 8, the finale, will open up with the big fight. That's kind of where I'm at now.
So you think that it could end with them already have fought and him going to Thraxa, or you also think that it could end issues prior to that with just the fight? You're talking about a difference of a year's worth of comics, DJ.
Yeah, I agree. I know. But that was my prediction of issue 25 came before we knew any of this. But the fact that we have the Sequids and, oh my gosh, Oliver, are you serious? Get out of here. The Sequids and like the Emperor, the Martian Emperor and everything, that all came later. Like Ryan said, that was issue 18. So they'd have to pull up those characters, which they could do. So I don't know. I'm torn.
Was Nolan, I'm sorry to show my not knowledge of this, but was Nolan off planet at issue 18?
Yeah.
And he already left?
Yes.
So,
yes.
Okay.
Issue 12, he left Earth.
Yeah, he's gone from like 12 to 24. Or 25.
So are we saying no more than 25 issues? Because to answer this question,
I'm saying I'd be confident that it's, if you read up to issue 25, you'll know everything that happens in it.
I would say that's a safe bet. I'd say that's a little optimistic. I think that we're probably going to see maybe around 18. I just don't know what they're going to end if they don't go to Thraxa.
Yeah, and
what are they going to end with to make it huge?
Yeah, you're right. All right, I got a couple more here. Thin Ghost. Just wondering what y'all looking forward to seeing animated the most.
Walter?
That is Walter crying.
Dude, I was like, are you killing someone?
No,
it sounds like he was slowly letting air out of a balloon.
Yeah, that's why I was like, what am I hearing now?
It's okay. What do you guys, Thin Ghost, what are you looking forward to seeing animated the most? Quick answers.
Nolan and Mark fighting.
Oh my God. Blood. I want to see Battle Beast in motion. Yeah. Alex Hoey Sorry. I am beyond excited. Do you guys think this is the first domino leading to possible spin-offs like Wolfman, Brit, etc.? I'm also curious how they might do meta commentary with Science Dog. Yes, I of course hope this leads to possible spin-offs. And meta commentary with Science Dog would be funny if they do a play on whether it be just superhero movies or whether it just be animated shows or cartoons or things like that with the reused art or the reused backgrounds or something is possible.
I have a question for you, and it can be really quick because I was thinking about this. Is it possible, TJ and or Ryan, that Jon Hamm playing the character of Steve could be a tie-in character, and he could be like Gary from Wolfman?
No, and I'll tell you why.
God.
Because
Ryan loves the idea, though.
It's because Jon Hamm, a.k.a. Steve, is actually a.k.a. Thrag.
Yeah, we'll see.
He could be a tie-in.
Did you see that? Did you see? I completely missed
Invincible
it.
HQ.
Yeah, isn't that funny? In the first issue of Invincible,
funny.
There's a character named Steve. Dude, if they did that intentionally, and I can't believe no one caught that. That's hilarious.
That's the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Right?
Them posting it, I laughed out loud. I was like, "Oh my god, this is some."
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Wet Carrot King says, "Am I getting Best Tiger at any point?" I hope so. Not for a while though.
Yes.
Let's see. Tyler Lindsay, where do you think the first season is going to finish in the comics? We talked on that a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then Tony1 Kenobi also asked, what are the chances Wolfman makes an appearance? Gary Hampton needs a cameo.
Really good, actually, because
I can't see it.
Or Jon Hamm.
No, yeah, because Jon Hamm. I can't see it happening in the first season. I'd love for it. I, of course, want it. I don't know if it needs to even be in the first season, though. There's too much to do.
What is it?
Wolfman showing up.
Wolfman cameo.
Oh, yeah.
What was the crossover issue? Was it
67 and 68?
67 and 68. So before that, Wolfman was in. Oh no, it was after. It was the Invincible War, the prison. That's right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Go on.
I'm sorry, it was just 67, and then the first one, part one, was Wolfman.
Wolfman issue 11 or something like that.
Yeah.
So yes, that's what we got. We also have one email, and then I want to get into a few more news items that I want to talk about. This is from Dante. He says, "Hello, Invincible Podcast. Dante here, and I wanted to offer a theory on how the entire comic series can be split into seasons, and it has to do with Oliver Grayson. Since he ages so quickly, it would make sense for a casting perspective to have a different actor voice Oliver for all the different stages of his life, with a new voice actor coinciding with a new season. Season 1, Baby Oliver. Season 2, Kid Omni-Man. 3, Young Omni-Man. 4, Coalition of Planets, Oliver, and then maybe there could be a shorter fifth season with 6 episodes with a mustache dad, Oliver. I think the sudden growth spurts could be a good way to mark the passage of time between seasons. What do you guys think?"
Wow, that's a
really
fucking intelligent.
Yeah, because casting would be a perfect way to do it.
I mean,
however, Baby Oliver can't be first season.
Yeah, he'd have to be second season, and then everything. And I think that I don't think with the timing that we're talking about that it could be more than 4 seasons, maybe 5 seasons. But that's a really smart thing because you could bookend every episode or every season with Oliver being a different age, because it would be kind of jarring for them to be go through 4 episodes of a season, then all of a sudden have Oliver be older.
Yeah, I agree.
It could work.
I agree with all of this and the reasoning and everything, especially if we were talking a live action show or movie. But the fact that it's animated, I mean, we've got 2 people voicing Monster Girl. We've got Robot, who's potentially going to be voiced by 2 different people. I don't think it'd be weird for an animated series to be like, hey, you're voicing this character for half a season, and then someone else is going to voice that character for the other half of the season, and the viewers wouldn't really be confused by that. I think that would be normal, And then you got voice actors playing 2 different characters. I think with voice acting, we there's a little bit more leniency, and I don't think people would really notice.
Every different stage of Oliver's life, we're seeing Oliver, after a long hiatus that Invincible took. You know what I mean?
That's a good point too. That'd be cool.
Very slowly become, a teenager, or slowly turn into grown up Oliver. It was all hiatuses. We came back and saw, holy shit, you're bigger than the last time I saw you. So that would make it a lot easier to cast other voices in itself.
Yeah.
Just by the story.
Yep. All right. We got another decent news item here. Entertainment Weekly. Did you guys read this article or skim it?
Yeah, that was a surprise.
What? Out of nowhere, Invincible live action movie will exist separate from Amazon's animated series. The Invincible movie, an animated show. It's just funny how it's like, yeah. I mean, yeah. But obviously they're not burying the lead, but there's more to it than that. They can exist and complement each other, says Robert Kirkman. I'm going to try and pull out a couple quotes here. The Invincible movie, revealed in 2017, is still very much alive and kicking. Kirkman confirmed to EW that the big screen adaptation remains in the very early going stages, but will be a separate live-action version than the upcoming adult animated series on Amazon Prime. Kirkman says that is still very much in development. That hasn't changed. We're just taking a long time. The comic creator told EW of the film in an interview for the Amazon show. But we've been fortunate enough to have a 2-track plan with Invincible. Right now, we've got the animated series at Amazon, which is now on the cusp of launching. And then we're also developing it as a film series with Universal, with Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg attached. So those two things are still very much happening concurrently, which is somewhat weird, I guess. But, Spider-Man's done it, so we're in good company. So yeah, and I don't know if we'll premiere Invincible series. Now we know both are taking place. Aside from the live action, Kirkman says there will definitely be some significant differences between the movie and the television show. People will easily be able to tell them apart. We're definitely working to make sure that the two can exist and complement each other. What do you guys think?
That comment right there, when I read that, made me feel really uneasy because as a fan, I don't want change.
I know, but I also like it. They can't be the same. We've talked about how this isn't going to work live action without massive changes.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that and accepting that, it can be very exciting. We've got the comic. It's done. It's perfect. It's great. Here it is. Now we've got an animated series. We've got that too. We're going to have something else, something different. It doesn't need to be, a carbon copy.
It's okay if you change it, just as long as it's good. Good.
The difference between Spider-Man and Invincible is that Spider-Man has decades and decades of content. You can, a movie can just take one arc, one little thing, and create a different origin story. Which you could think maybe Invincible could do too. It could take something completely different and just how Peter Parker has organic web shooters in the first Spider-Man. That was fucking crazy. The fact that they would do something like that. They could do that kind of change in the Invincible movie. So I don't know. I think a lot of it has to do with the release of the show. I think that there hasn't been a lot of reception. News. There hasn't been a lot of. Yeah, I really think that they're going to see how it takes, what works, what doesn't work.
You think it's Universal that are sitting back all right, well, we can fast track this, but as soon as they see, I should say they're holding on it, but as soon as they see this thing that is a massive success, if it is, then they
why not? It's free test screening. It honestly is. Hey, we have this IP. How well is it going to do? Let's see how well it does, and then let's taper our expectations and what we want to do with it based on how the show does.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anything else on that, TJ?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Walter we'll see. Agrees.
Walter agrees. And then the last thing, today, Ryan Ottley posted his awesome new Invincible poster of Invincible punching Conquest with blood everywhere, and Invincible's wearing a mask, and it's a wear a mask poster. So cool.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
Badass. Yeah, it was awesome.
So that's pretty neat.
Drawing Invincible and Conquest
colored
with John Rauch doing the...
we haven't seen him coloring them in a while, which is really, really exciting.
Good shit.
So that does it for Invincible news. We got a little bit here. I want to talk a little bit about do some shout outs to the things we've been watching, playing, reading, and digging into lately. So Bill, we were talking a little bit about shows. We got our Friday rituals right now with WandaVision, which, holy shit, guys. I was so excited for it. I've been
Yeah.
banging the drum for over a year now. I've been so excited for this show, and this past episode 4 finally, like, and I can't say finally because I loved every episode so far for what it is. It's just been a ton of fun. But man, that episode is one of the best intros of any show. It was so good.
So,
and no spoilers.
I agree. Yeah, we won't talk about spoilers, but I fucking hate Wanda, Scarlet Witch, in all of the Marvel movies. She's so irritating in Ultron. I can't stand her. I think that she's kind of useless in all the other movies. But this fucking show, the last episode in particular, shows a really dark side to her. And it's just very, very quick. It's like maybe 30 seconds of her tone just totally shifting to where I sat back in my chair. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, we can't talk about it for spoiler reasons. We don't want to. But fuck, man. WandaVision is doing stuff for the Marvel Universe right now. Awesome show.
TJ, you like it? You watching it?
So when the first 3 episodes dropped on the first
Two
day,
episodes.
Okay. So when the first 2 episodes dropped on the first day, I was seeing multiple unrelated reviews talking about how boring it was. And I'm not like huge Marvel, so I just haven't watched it. And I think I'm just going to wait until it to be done and then just binge it all.
You haven't watched it? It's not boring. It's just not.
I'm really nervous you're going to get things spoiled. It's definitely going to be that kind of show, man.
Because I noticed that the commercials are starting to get a little more into the story, and
It's because they released the episodes.
I did see a meme that was like when Wanda turns her head sideways and says the word no, like you're fucked or something like that.
You just
I sent that one to you. I sent that one to you. Go.
No.
And it was Ralph. It was Ralph sitting on the bus saying, "I'm in danger."
I'm in danger. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'll do that.
No, TJ, you should definitely watch it. The first 2 episodes are so quick, anyways, and there's a reason why you have to. It's like fucking
are they 30
solid.
minutes?
It's like each one's like 30 or less. They're pretty quick.
It's excellent. It's excellent misdirection, dude.
It's solid blood.
Misdirection.
It's solid blood.
Okay.
They commit so hard, and then when they go further, it's like this was worth it. This was worth it. It's awesome.
It's very obvious what it is, what I perceive it to be about. And
you're probably right.
I could be wrong.
Probably right.
But like they go to this town. I don't know why they go to the town.
Yeah, don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, don't worry. Don't even. It's not like that. Just watch it. Yeah.
There are things in the show that, the way that I'll put it. So, The Last of Us. We all played The Last of Us, the first one. Remember how often Joel lifts Ellie up over his shoulder, and then the one time that it doesn't happen, it feels fucking wrong.
Dude, there's a moment in Miles Morales, which I beat, over, I don't know if I beat it since the last time we recorded it or not, but there was a moment in Miles Morales where that happens, and it was awesome.
Yep. But that's what WandaVision does. It gives you this feeling of this is what the show is, and then when it doesn't do that, you're like, oh, man, okay. Yeah.
Any other shows you guys have been watching?
Well, I finally fucking did it.
What'd you watch?
Everybody has been talking about it for the longest fucking time. But I watched fucking Cobra Kai, and damn it, am I glad I did.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. It's so... I was a huge Karate Kid fan. It's so fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, the acting is like... You kind of got to get past it because it's older actors that like child star actors that come back, but like it's awesome to see the dynamic between Daniel Russo and Johnny, from the original movies, but the new characters, like all the teenagers, the stories with them is so fucking good.
I've heard nothing but good things, man. I can't wait to watch it. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah, I literally. One thing I will say is, I'm not saying you have to be a fan of the original movies.
I probably haven't watched them in 20 years. I need to rewatch them.
Watch them. You have to watch them first. I did.
I'm going to. That's why I haven't started Cobra Kai.
Yeah. So even though I loved the movies and I knew the movies, I still watched all 3 movies.
Do I have to watch all 3?
Before.
Okay, I'll watch all 3.
You don't have to watch the next Karate Kid with
then I won't.
Hilary Swank.
Even though you know what, I love that movie too.
No, that's a bad movie. It's so boring.
No, it's very good.
Anything else? Show wise.
One other so I binged the fuck out of that, and it was fucking amazing. Then I moved on to another show that I've been meaning to watch for a really long time, and it is very good. It's called The Great, and it's with Nicholas. Really, kind of funny. I always used to talk about it when it first came out. It's with Nicholas Hoult, and he plays like a king, and it's got elves.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's Bill. It's our kind of humor. Like, it's not like Step Brothers humor, but it's like quick quip humor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Ryan, you would like it too
Nicholas
because
Hoult.
Yeah. You don't like him or do?
I do.
Yeah. So it's very like quick humor. It's clever humor, but it's that show too where it's like you get the first couple episodes are hilarious, and then the story takes over, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
The Great, what is that on? Is that on Hulu? It's on Hulu, isn't it?
It's on Hulu. Yes.
Yeah.
Is it Prime? No, it's Hulu. It's on Hulu.
I'm pretty sure it's Hulu, dude.
Yeah.
Any video games you want to give a shout out to? No?
No. I have been playing Cyberpunk.
Really?
It's a shame. It's a crying shame because it is very hard to be well immersed in a game and lose yourself as we do when it is as glitchy as it is. The problem that I'm having is just it fucking crashes. And so like I'll play for 15 minutes and the game will literally break. So then I feel no need to go back into it, which sucks, you know,
that does suck.
Yeah. But that's really all I've been playing.
I finally finished my playthrough of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater remakes, both 1 and 2. I've been working my way through Sackboy on PS5. Still playing Hades, which is just such a great game. I love just picking that up and doing runs. And then I just started Ratchet and Clank, just because I thought, it's on. I have it through PS Plus, and I'm excited for
playing that.
Yeah, I'm excited for the sequel because it looked amazing, the trailer. So I'm like, you know what? There's only one game ahead of this. I'm gonna give it a try. So I just started that recently.
Is that your first Ratchet and Clank game that you've played?
Yes.
Are
you never played it?
I've never played
the remake of the first one.
Yeah.
Did you love it? Do you fucking love it?
It's very good so far. I've played an hour and a half or so, and so far it's just very, it feels almost like a Lego game where it's just shoot a bunch of stuff and things fly everywhere, and there's not really any.
You fall in love with it.
It hasn't
every single Ratchet and Clank game
too
is
hard
fucking
yet,
incredible.
But obviously the art style, it's like playing a Pixar movie. It's just a ton of fun.
Yeah.
But that's been cool.
And it's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Quark. I have
not
cried
sure about
laughing.
him. Not
I
sure.
have cried laughing.
I don't know. He feels a little too. I don't know.
I
feel like I'm a little too old to like them. It has that kind of. I didn't grow up with it kind of thing.
I get that, but I just like the conversation between Ratchet and Clank, like as they talk.
Yes,
like, it's fun.
Yeah, they're cool. But I mentioned Hades. I did watch. I can't think of a movie that I watched this past month, but I watched the No Clip documentary on the development of Hades, and it was fascinating because it's done now. What's that?
Just the way that you're talking about it, you're
sorry.
I watched a documentary on.
Sorry.
But go on.
Well, anyways, I mean, Bill, you really liked the God of War documentary. It's basically that, but broken up into 6 half-hour parts that they filmed over the course of making this game. So like 2-3 years in the making, and I just started watching it, and they just finished it. So it was cool getting to have the whole thing all at once. But it was just fascinating being like, okay, here, they're all excited. This is the studio. This is the team. And then all of a sudden an episode starts and it's like, so we all have to work from home now because it's like, oh, COVID hit. And now how does this affect this game that they're putting through, early release or early access? And then all of a sudden it's nominated by wins IGN's Game of the Year, and all these studios, like just the whole ride that studio went through in the development of that game. Really awesome. Makes me love the game even more.
Is there a definitive story and like it doesn't just feel like you're grinding through stuff, or is it like?
It is a game where
I want to play it, but I just don't know.
It is a game where, yes, okay, now you're doing another run, going through runs, but then as you're running, you're meeting new characters, and then when you die and start your next run, you'll go up to somebody and they'll mention the characters that you just met, and it is telling a story, but it's like, how are they? there's like thousands and thousands of lines of dialogue, and the way that they tell the story, even though it's a repetitive run, it's brilliant. It's really, really cool. And it will get to a point where it's where I'm kind of at now, where I'm kind of at a point where it's like, all right, I need to just get better and get past this point in the game to get more of the story. But it's, I really want you to play it. I really want you to play it. It's great. Anything else? I mean, I got some comics. I've been reading
so many comics.
Just quick ones here. Tom King's Rorschach is very good. I've been enjoying that.
I have them all, but I haven't read them.
Really? That might be the way to go. Just all at once. Because they're really good, but it is very much a detective story, and so I find myself having to go back and reread and kind of catch up where it was.
I read the first issue when it first came out, but I don't remember it all, and I got to start fresh now.
Yeah. Homesick Pilots was really good. Did you read that?
No.
2 issues, Homesick Pilots. I think you'd really like it, TJ. It's cool.
I think I have the first issue of that too.
Yeah.
But I haven't read that either. I have a freaking stack, man.
Yeah. Any other shout outs?
I started reading a book.
Yeah?
A book series. Yeah, it's nothing new, but I actually read the first book of the Witcher series.
Oh.
And I'm about halfway through the second one.
Holy shit. Every time you talk about reading books, I want to get into a novel. You know what I mean? I want to... I haven't done that in a while. Just too busy with comics and video games.
It's very good. Did you watch the show?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So the first book is the first season of the show. It's The Last Wish. It's almost like to a T, kind of, minus some of the weird time travel stuff that they did.
Weird? You mean awesome?
No. I mean, yes, I loved that. I loved how it was filmed, not chronologically like that. But it's very good. Like, you can't, because it was written in a different language. I think it's Polish. Is the original language, but you can't tell. And it is written in a way that is so kind of like regal. Like the way that Geralt and everyone talks is very like high level, upper class.
Interesting.
So it feels kind of otherworldly. Like I'm like, ooh, I'm very sophisticated for reading this book, but it's still about slaying monsters and stuff. So it's really cool. It's really cool. I'm fucking really excited that I'm reading it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, then. We are going to wrap up this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. There's so much good Invincible stuff coming out, man. It was so great talking with Sean about it and getting hyped up on Invincible. And we've got, before we talk to you again, there will be, we're assuming, the full-length trailer. And then that will be our last episode before entering the month in which we'll have the animated series released, which we didn't mention it earlier. But we're gonna be doing weekly episodes. We want to be out there with you guys talking about these episodes as they go live. So hopefully by next month, next first Friday, we'll have a little bit more details on what those episodes are going to look like. We're kicking around the idea of doing some more video style things. But in the meantime, thank you all for listening. Can't wait for the coming weeks and months. This is going to be a lot of fun. Thanks
again to Big Clutch.
Of course, thank you, and thanks to Wyatt Layne, who does our music. If you're hearing it now, this is a song called "Remember." You can find Wyatt Layne's music over on Soundcloud, Apple Music, Spotify, all that good stuff. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you.
Farewell.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Don't fuck it up. You only get one shot at this.
This is your one chance to blow.
Yes.
Mom's spaghetti.
This is your one chance to blow Mom's spaghetti. That's exactly it. That's what got him the Oscar.
Sorry. Okay. All right.